morning, you beautiful people. How's it going this morning? Crazy boy was up at 6 o'clock and got his butt wiggling at 7 o'clock and went for his walk. 5.3 kilometers, 3 something miles. So today, because I left early, the sun didn't get me and I was able to walk very easy. While I was walking, I kept remembering all the days, how many times I'd done that same distance in the green clothes. Probably thousands and thousands of times. Amazing. I used to, in the green clothes, I had to run with boots on for same distance 2 or 3 times a week when I was young. But then I got into running by myself and started doing half marathons. And then we had a guy in the gym. His name was Q Rose, Sergeant Major Rose. He was a instructor in the PT Corps, but he's also in the paratroopers, which, you know, they do speed marching. So he formed a marching team, and we used to go out and walk like between 10 and 20 miles every day. And you know, we never did. There was a thing called Nijmegen, which was in Holland. We never did that, but we did Paris one. Paris was 32 miles or something around Paris. All this is to represent some kind of old battle or some junk, but it was fun. So 3 miles, 5 kilometers is nothing, but at 62, when I haven't been doing it for a while, the first time it was something, especially in the heat. But this morning, like I said, I got up at 6 and set off at 7, but I think I had to find a bag to put my stuff in today, but a bottle of water and my phone and my face cloth for sweating. So by the time I actually got away, it was like 7. But next time I can just get up, clothes on, and go before the sun gets over the trees, because you know, when you're in the sun, it's actually warm, even in the early morning. But at some places there was a nice cool breeze, so it was all right. I really enjoyed it though today, much better than last time, because it wasn't so hot. Just, you know, it didn't push me in the ground, but it was fun. The only thing is you got to watch for the dogs. I probably encountered about 30 dogs. And you know how if you watch a dog, dogs are basically like a wolf, and wolves work in packs to bring down their prey. So, you know, one will bark at you at the front while the other one tries to sneak around and nip your legs. Well, one tried to do that, but I have a stick, so I just like press it in the floor and then make the noise as like dragging it across the floor, make a noise, and they'll run off normally. Well, this guy wouldn't. And when I did it 2 or 3 times for the one from the back, the big one on my left, just like, you know, give me his teeth thing and come like really like trying to have a go. So when he got close, I whacked him right on the end of his beak, and he ran off then. But you're not going to nip me, my friend. I don't need teeth marks in my legs. But off he went. And that was the only one out of them all. So it was good. And seen the banana lady. If you've seen me, showed you before. It's funny because I knew she could see me because she had her head down one side grinning. And then when I got closer to her, I was on the other side of the road. She lifted her head up and looked at me and said, "Hey, hello." It's like, you stinker, I knew you were looking. I tell her she's my girlfriend. She's about, I don't know, up to my rib cage or something. That's how tall she is. Just, you know, I won't say nothing negative, but she's sweet. She sells bananas. I don't know how she makes a living selling bananas, but because they're so cheap here. And she has to buy them before she can sell them, so I don't know what the profit margin is, but I'm sure it's not a lot. Anyway, I really enjoyed my walk today. And when I come around on the road at the top there, a couple pickup trucks beeped to say hi, and a couple buses to say hi. But I tell you what, there was one funny thing. Walking along, and I could hear this, like a dog in pain, like almost crying. Let's let this scooter go by. Someone going fishing. Excuse me, still coughing. It's a something in the air still, but it's better than it was. So I could hear this dog way around the bend barking, but I could hear it getting louder. I'm like, what the hell? Normally if a dog's barking like that, it means it's in pain and it wants to get away, but it's coming towards me. And then around the corner comes this motorcycle with a sidecar. You know, it's not a sidecar like a Harley Davidson sidecar. It's a sidecar that they use like a taxi, you know, for the family. They have one scooter, and they'll have this sidecar with a roof on it, so that like 3 or 4 people can sit in there. Well, they had dad was driving, the granddad was driving, grandma was sitting there, and they have a baby in like a basket inside, and the dog's running behind. Like, you're leaving me, I gotta come with you. And I pointed to the dog, and they just said, like, he wouldn't stay home, I guess, so he had to follow him. And he was just, they're going about 30 something, maybe 30, maybe 40 kilometers an hour, I guess. And the dog's just trotting along like, I want to, you know, he wants to get in with him. So, but when he seen me, he went from, and then as he got by, he started crying again. It was like in a comedy film. Funny, so funny. So this is my little thing, little place I call my shade garden, and I like to sit here in the mornings. So I thought today I'm going to show you and share with you. And up here are some orchids, all different kinds. There's no flowers today, just the plants are there. Different types of plants and some orchids and things like that. Ferns. But the shilling there, the green stuff, is to stop the mid-afternoon sun shining in here and burning all these plants up. Because none of these plants would survive if they were in the direct sun. Sometimes I've said, I was thinking about stopping because it gets too much, you know. But I don't know, the negative comments don't bother me anymore. The thumbs down don't bother me anymore. It's like, whatever. I feel sorry for them more than anything. I think if you can't see the beauty in something and can only give you a thumbs down, that tells me a lot about that person. That person's got a lot of pain inside or a lot of darkness, you know. There's some people in the world who get pleasure out of watching other people suffer. So the people who give me thumbs down, I want them to stay now, because just maybe if they watch my stuff and give me a thumbs down, they're watching, and maybe if I can shine some light on them and show them that there's a better way, then that's fine. But the other day I got one video with no thumbs down. Say, huh? I started to worry, where's my friends that's giving me the thumbs down? I have some people who said, I give you a thumbs down. So they wanted to hide to other people, but it's okay. Whatever. Don't bother me anymore. If it's a negative comment, I'll just delete it. But, you know, people say, please don't stop. A lot of you guys said, please don't stop. Please do not, yeah, good English. Please do not stop producing the videos, because I encourage other people. And I'm like, okay, you got it. I'm not stopping. I'm gonna keep going. And the other day I was talking to David, and he was talking to me about, wanted to talk to me about spiritual things. And I'm like, dude, that's my subject. You know, I don't talk a lot about it on here because you probably pick up threads in there anyway, because that's who I am. But let me move over and get out the sun a little bit. There we go. It's only like 7:30 in the morning, but the sun's, when it gets on you, it gets warm fast. Yeah, he wanted to talk about spiritual stuff, and I'm like, go on then. So the guy who was with him talked about like Ganesh and things like that, Hinduism, Tantric. I'm like, okay, cool. And other people talk about this and that and this and that, and like, this is my belief, and you know, I am free and I am allowed to have my own thoughts and beliefs. So I said, it's, you know, I want to be polite and kind here. Sometimes you meet the Christian who's just loving and caring and will help anybody, but then which is beautiful, and then you meet the other one who stands on their soapbox and tells everybody they're wrong until they believe what they believe, you know, like a little robot. Follow me, follow me. You have to believe this. And if you say anything back to them, they can't talk, they'll shout and argue. Well, if you shout and argue, scooter going by, sorry. If you shout and argue, that suggests there's not peace inside, right? So if you have peace inside and love and kindness inside, then if whatever somebody says, you're going to try to see the good in it. So this is my belief, what I believe in. You know, when I was in England, I started feeling the urge to go to church, and I kept looking at the buildings. I'm like, don't want to go in there. But I moved to America, and a guy asked me, would I go to his church with him? I said, sure. When I get back from England, because I was going to England for Christmas, I said, when I get back from England, I'll come to church with you. And then January, whatever date it was, and he was like, right, he's not going to come. I was there. I told him I was going to be there, and I was there. And I stayed there for a while, but the message I liked, the messenger I didn't like. The pastor of the church, more interested in hunting and cars and motorcycles and heavy rock music than anything else. Don't get me wrong, he was there on a Sunday, and he would, you know, I was a teacher. I was a teacher who taught teachers how to teach. My job was teaching teachers how to teach, right? For many, many, many years to a high level. So I know a little bit about giving a message. Beginning, middle, and end, conclusion, etc., etc., right? And this guy could not put a sermon together. It was all just out of whack and things like that. Why? So the secret of teaching is know your subject. If you know your subject, you can say something even if it's not in order. And it'll come across like you know your subject. Like a watchmaker who has no idea how to teach can stand up and talk about watchmaking for 15 minutes. A fireman can tell you about firefighting for 15 minutes, even though he can't put it across in a format that's understandable as teaching, right? Well, this guy could not give a sermon or message because it wasn't inside of him. So I left that church. I went to one in Raleigh, North Carolina. It was like an evangelical church, bigger church, and it was pretty good. I liked the pastor there at the beginning, like a little bit of like a father figure. But he's one of those kind of guys that he actually said in a roundabout way that it's a business. And you don't want people getting too ahead of themselves, because how do you control them and they might take your ship away? You know, if you're the captain of the ship and somebody's shining brighter than you, they might start following you instead of him, because it's a business. And I'm thinking, shouldn't we all be trying to encourage each other to grow as fast, as far, as high, as whatever it is, however you measure that, into the understanding of what we're supposed to believe here? But that wasn't the case. So after that, I kind of started losing interest, but I started traveling a lot. I went to California to a prophetic conference, prophets conference, Christian, but the tone was different. It was a different story there. Really interesting story. I went to Africa for 3 months, spent some time with some missionaries. And when I was there, I'm thinking, what pops in your mind when you think of a missionary? People who go somewhere to help somebody, right? Well, we did that. We didn't do that. We hung around for 3 months. But they did bring in some, like, the top people who are moving in the spiritual stuff from around the world. The top people. Like, I won't mention any names, but you know, they've seen healings and things like this. So, what's my point? My point is, I think all religions are good. And here's an example. I was in India, in Delhi. I got in a taxi. And if anybody's been to Delhi and get in a taxi, you'll verify this, that I was the first one in the taxi for the day. So the guy lit 3 incense with the windows closed and did his prayer thing until they almost burn out. And I could hardly breathe because there's so much smell and smoke in the car. But he was having his prayer, and that was all there was to it. So I thought, okay, don't interrupt his moment. So, but on the dashboard he had some figurines. What do you think he had there? I think I mentioned this before, so you might already know the answer. He had a figurine of Jesus. Then he had a figurine of Buddha, Ganesh, Hindu god, and other Hindu gods. There's a guy, I can't remember the name, I have a picture somewhere of a guy who is from India, who had a life, I think he was, I don't think he's alive still, but I think he was around like 50, 70 years ago or something. And he basically did the same as Jesus. He would ask, he didn't produce food, but he would ask people to bring food, and he would cook big old lumps of, big piles of food, and then all the people who didn't have food could come in the evening, and they all sat and ate together. So, and he had a picture of him too. So, about 5 different figurines representing. So the first time I seen this, I was like, dude, which one do you believe in? Because you know that Western mindset, you have to pick one, and so you can have an argument, right? He says, I believe in them all. They're all good. They all have good qualities. So what did that show me? It showed me that you can believe, you can believe in the vehicle, the teachings, but you don't have to be totally behind any of them. So is that good or bad? The naysayers will come up with 20 reasons why that's bad, but I'll tell you a reason why I think it's good. The reason it's good is because we're all supposed to be your own guide. You have your own internal guidance system. Some will call it women's intuition. Guys don't have it so much because they're so busy focusing on ego. That male dominance thing, which I'll maybe talk about later. But if you just let your guard down and focus on that part of that strength or that muscle, whatever you want to call it, and you can go in that, and I've had people say, people doing spiritual stuff would still talk about fighting and being dominant. Well, the spiritual is at the other end of the spectrum. It's all about gentleness, kindness, loving, compassion, forgiveness, etc., etc. So, if you want, dare I say this, if you want to see supernatural things happening in your life, go to the place where you're at peace, gentle, calm, forgiving, loving, show kindness. And sometimes in the world it's hard. I know for a fact that the people in the West, Russia, America, so on and so on, walk down the street, go to a coffee shop, and you'll find confrontation everywhere because there's so many unhappy people grumbling inside. So when they see somebody else, there's a reaction. You drive a car, they get out and shout at each other. I opened the door for you. A guy opens the door for a woman, and she'll walk in and not even acknowledge that he's there, like he works there or something, So how do you deal with all that? Well, it's the same as I deal with when I open the comments. The first thing I do before I open the comments to see what people have to say, I can say 99.99% are good, and there's always that one. So that it doesn't get a chance to disturb me, what I do is I just pause for a minute and breathe. Breathe, put myself in the zero space, open it up, read all the good ones, and when I come across the negative one, I go, click, and it didn't faze me. I just, thank you, and move on. So who benefits from that? You do. Because if your mind is full of stress and your body's full of stress, stress and all that stuff will cause a sickness or a disease. If you fill a tin or a jar full of poop, then what's inside? Poop. If you fill your body full of stress and your mind full of stress, what's inside? Tension and stress, right? So our body's not designed to work in that for long periods of time. Fight or flight is only a couple of seconds, couple of minutes maybe. Not an environment to live in. So if you keep living in that environment, your body's, it suppresses your immune system. Everything is suppressed for fighting and flighting. Everything, even external extremities, your extremities don't get so much oxygen because it's focused on the core, survival, and fighting, Except I don't know how it exactly works, but if you run, I don't know if you noticed this when you're being chased as a kid, that you could run like a gazelle. So I guess it goes to the legs too, but, oh, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of cold. Yeah, so adrenaline runs and everything goes, right? You're ready to fight. So if you stay in that environment all the time, you're going to get sick. So you owe it to yourself to learn to be peaceful. And when you meet people, just be calm. If they react nasty, then just smile and walk away. Don't even talk to them. If they call you a beep beep, don't smile, don't nothing. Because if you smile, that agitates them more. Well, just walk away. Just keep walking. Don't talk to them, just keep walking. If somebody's rude or nasty, just keep walking. Because you owe it to yourself to give you that inner peace. And when you have that inner peace and cultivate it like a gardener, is where that life starts to happen. So that's what I was sharing the other day. Life happens when you're at peace and gentle and kind. Ooh. Scaring the birds scare me. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that. So I enjoyed my walk today. I hope you enjoyed the little talk we had. Sorry I missed last night. I was exhausted. I was out all day. I didn't get home till 8 something. I thought, no way can I edit anything. I'm just too tired. So it's Sunday morning here. I'm going to edit this and hopefully post it by lunchtime. And when you wake up, I hope you have a wonder-filled day. Look after yourselves. Buckets of blessings. Rivers of peace, joy, and kindness. Rivers of peace, joy, and kindness. Have a great day, guys. See you in the morning.